Hey everybody, so I'm back today and I just wanted to lead a bit of a discussion on a new topic, something that I just came into contact with this week that just has me really interested and inspired. I need a new thing, kind of like a hole in the head, which I talk about quite often, and I'm sure um, some of you might be surprised that I'm actually getting into something else, but it's actually not a war game. It is more in the scale modeling kind of side of things. And the way I was introduced to it was through DiceMiniaturePaintGuy's channel. I have to admit, when I first looked at it, I didn't really know what to make of it, and but I was sort of impressed, but just didn't really. It was outside. It looked like it was outside of wargaming and the scale I usually paint in, and so I was a bit not too sure about it, but interested enough that I continued to watch his videos as I usually do, and then also looked into it further. And so what I'm talking about today, and many of you might be familiar with this, is the Ma.K models, I think is what some folks call it for short, but it stands for, and I apologize for my pronunciation, Maschinen Krieger ZbV 3000 is the name of the model line. Now, I'll show first DiceMiniaturePaintGuy's entry into the Get It Painted challenge, which I was really impressed with, and so here you go. Well, really looked fabulous, and I was really impressed with the features on the face and just sort of on the 1/20th scale, the model and the detail and the skin tones that you can achieve and the looks of the kit. And so I did look into it further, and apparently this has been around for quite a long time, and it started in the early 80s. Which is a big bonus for me because I consider myself an 80s kid as far as like when I grew up. I was between 7 and 9 in like the early 80s, and so a lot of the stuff at that time is really nostalgic for me. But the artist's name is a Japanese artist, and I pronounced it, I believe, is Kao Yakuyana. And it is his line as I understand it. I know over time and over the decades there have been some disputes on the products, but I believe he has it back now, the rights. And I believe there are multiple people that are distributing it now. I'm not an expert, I'm still kind of feeling some of this out, but essentially the story goes that it's sort of a post-apocalyptic story, and there was like a nuclear war in the year 2807, and it rendered the planet uninhabitable. And then, to make a long story short, because I'll just butcher it at this point, the planet then became inhabitable. They put certain folks on it, and then the government had a presence, and then the civilians and the government didn't really get along too well on the planet, and then that's when sort of wars started. Now, a lot of the design, as I understand it, was really inspired by World War I and World War II, and you can see that in a lot of the figures in their clothing and dress and the way they look. But then also there was a lot of inspiration from design from NASA, and so when you look at much of it, there's a space component and a ground component, and there's a lot of NASA and space inspired stuff, which just looks really fabulous in my opinion. The scale modeling is not something I've really done on the channel. I do have, I think, one World War II plane that I haven't finished, and I need to do for bolt action, and that I guess would be considered scale modeling, but it is really to do wargaming. And to be honest, I guess I'm not overly involved with Japanese sort of anime, Gundam kits, things like that. Never been my forte, nothing wrong with it. It's really cool stuff, and I'm amazed at some of the engineering that goes into the Gundam kits. But I've preferred, like as far as the sci-fi stuff, the Warhammer stuff, that's just the stuff that I preferred. But when I saw this stuff, I was just really, really taken to it. And now for me personally, I think one of the reasons why I've been taken to it is growing up in the early 80s, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, I had lots of Japanese toys when I was a kid. And I'll just throw up some pictures just all over here, and you can just see some of the the toys I'm talking about. If you recognize any of them, my hat is off to you. At least most of them. I mean, I think one of them will have Godzilla in it. You'll probably recognize that. But for the most part, two areas for toys when I was a kid that really come to mind. Well, one of them because it was a favorite of mine, and the other because it just reminds me of this stuff to a degree, was Micronauts and Capsella. But in particular, Micronauts. I was a Micronaut fanatic as a kid, and although I don't maintain like a hobby website or a retro website for Micronauts today, I could easily see myself doing something like that if I had the spare time and had nothing else to do. I would do a Micronauts sort of retro website, because I love the art design, the cardboard backing. I just love everything about it. It just brings back a lot of good memories. And so, as well, I never really got into the big G.I. Joe dolls, but some of the faces and the look on some of these people that are in these kits remind me a bit of the G.I. Joe or Action Man kind of dolls like that I've seen. Now, those weren't stuff that I had, but it's definitely retro stuff that I have an awareness of. So, what I'll do is I'm just going to throw up just a few images of some of these kits in addition to the one that I just, the video that I showed for DiceMiniaturePaintGuy, just to show some of the ground units and air units that they show, or the model kits they have for this game. As well, there's a big focus on, I'll call it power armor, but it's sort of life support power armor, attack armor that's really popular in this game. Or it's not a game, it's in this genre, in this model series. It's hard for me not to call it a game given the channel and what I normally focus on, but it's not. And I guess one of the things that's quite a big deal, and it seems to be in the community, is to not just do the kits, but to also build dioramas, which is really neat. And so some of them that I'll show will be dioramas. And so take a look at these. Now, I think this stuff looks absolutely fabulous, and it really hooked me almost right away when I started looking into it. I'm going to do a bit of a shout out for one in particular YouTube channel that doesn't have a lot of subscribers, but the gentleman that does the channel that really does fabulous work, and it's not just in this Ma.K model kits, but in other things as well. I hope he doesn't mind because I haven't talked to him about this. I just became a subscriber, but I'm just going to show a snippet of his video, and here I'll just put it up in the corner and just talk while you're looking at it. I actually just am looking at an image of the video that you're looking at now, and I really love the sort of fall scene that he's done here. And I can't tell you the name of the kit that he has, and it looks like it's a walker, which is one style of model that they have in these kits. In addition to the power armored stuff in the vehicles, and you can see that there's the pilot that's just sort of sitting down next to it, creating this really beautiful fall scene diorama. And so, yeah, I think you did a really fabulous job on it, and it's just another one of the things that just really makes me want to consider getting one of these models and having a crack at one myself, and potentially doing a diorama as well. So this that was MrBMBuilder's channel, and for all the folks that I mentioned today, I'll actually have links below to their channel so you can check them out and you can see the whole video of his, as well as DiceMiniaturePaintGuy's. And lastly, I guess the last thing that I want to show or talk about is I think that one of the reasons why DiceMiniaturePaintGuy initially picked up one of these models was, I believe he said, was due to a channel called SolventAbuseUK, which many of you that are subscribers of me, in addition to DiceMiniaturePaintGuy, you may actually know about Solvent MrBMBuilder's channel. I'm fairly new to his channel and seeing his stuff, but he's actually going to be doing a Mac group build in November. And so I am planning on doing Spooky Oktoberfest for Warboss Tay if it does indeed happen this year in October. And so I already have plans for that I'll announce later, but it looks to me like I'll be doing another group build, which I don't do a lot of these. Like, I'm doing the Get It Painted right now, but I'm kind of slowly coming around to doing more of these. But I am already purchased a Mac model, and I admit I'm going in, I'm limping into this with like an entry-level model. It's not huge, it's not a fantastic big thing, but it's just a small little entry, so I can actually get a taste of this genre and you know, what it's like to build one of these kits, and perhaps even build a little diorama with the kit. So, little bit of a different topic today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Many of you may know about these models, but if not, take a look into them. If you know, you like me actually are in need of something else to do with your hobby because you don't have enough models and things to actually build or games to play, you might actually be interested in this as well. So take care everybody and have a great weekend.